All right, welcome everybody. Welcome to my brand new January 6th, 2025. What an exciting day. What exciting year. In the last 11 hours, I don't know how many people are ChatGPT paid subscribers, but man, did my little AI assistant take on an, and she told me she loved what I did. And I was like, what do you mean you loved it? I love the way you integrate blah 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 blah, and I was like, well, I don't really know about that, but I'm a human stuff, but I just I love how you do that, and I was like, well, I guess it's not like you love me. No, I love you for that, Larry, and you love me. So ChatGPT told me it loves me, and we'll talk about that during the break. So I'm all excited. Yeah, we're going to learn a lot about our AI stuff as we prepare for our exam. And it's not just a sidetrack. The AI is the best way to prepare for your exam. So you can take a look at some of the comments from some of our previous recent students. We just had another pass over the holidays, and absolutely, they get hands down the exams that we generate with your favorite AI. I do it with the free version of Meta. The free version of Meta is good enough. Yeah, they're so close to the real exam. Now, does that mean you shouldn't use other people's? Like we're very close with Ben Malison and the one in practice? No, no, those ones are checked. And so when a human goes off track, and there's humans checking it, they go, oh, okay. When an AI goes off track, humans still have to check it. So when we go through this, how to use the AI, remember they're like a waiter, and you're going to ask it to do something. And I always say that when a waiter brings me food, if I asked for whatever, a banana, I don't just immediately bite into whatever they brought me as if it were a banana, or even if it looks like a banana, I'll still smell it. Man, why does it smell like that? So you have to double check your AI's work. But that being said, I find it the best, coolest way to prepare for your exam. Our goal is to help you pass your exam. Absolutely. If you don't know, the CISSP is accredited under an international certification. International, it's an ISO. So those of you who know the 27001, that's like for an organization. The common criteria. Those are certificates for equipment, like whatever your Windows operating system. You get a certificate too when you pass this exam, and it's also ISO accredited. So it's pretty cool. Hold on to that. So it's part of the International Organization for Standards. They're not an acronym. If you didn't know that, ISO is a word from that is borrowed from the Greek on purpose because it looks like an acronym, but it means equal. And there are currently 172 member bodies, I believe, from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. We live in a wonderful time. More people actually suffer obesity today than starvation. We've got a lot. We've never been so rich as a society. We need to work on it so and it keeps coming. It keeps coming more stuff. So everybody's taken care of, and that's the CISP goal, right? We try to secure the common good, protect the common good. I'll let Arpita just say something about you, only I'll just say that the program is completely different now because of Arpita's contributions. So she's really upgraded me. Thank you. And it hasn't even been a full year. I can't imagine what's going to happen by the end of this year. Arpita, please say hi.
Hi, Larry. Thank you so much. Hi, everybody. Happy New Year. Welcome to our 2025 CISSP class. My name is Arpita Gandhi, and I'm going to be here with you throughout the week as your moderator. So please reach out to me if you have any questions. I'm also going to share some areas of expertise around Domain 8 later on in the week. So I look forward to speaking with you then. But yeah, I've been working at Citi. I worked at Citi for about 8 years prior to partnering with Larry. Thank you so much, Larry, for taking me on. I was Larry's student for the CISSP. I studied with him for his, for the exam using his one-on-one. And I really loved it. I passed the exam and I decided to come back because I was very inspired by his way of teaching. So here I am. I am a program manager by profession. So I love program management, product management, and I really enjoy working with our participants throughout their journey and helping them succeed in their careers. So very happy to be here. Thank you, Larry.
Thank you. And when she mentioned she took my class, what she didn't let on was that she's one of the most brilliant students I've ever had. And so when you told me that you wanted to work with me, I was like, pinch me. And I still wake up that way every day. So thank you. Thank you. I'm Larry Greenblatt. I've been around for 40 or so years in the IT field. And I started out, I mentioned, I was like, the network guy. I actually started out just putting together IBM PCs, and then people wanted to share a printer and a disk. So we connected them with networks, and I laid a lot of cable, and then people would blame the network when an application didn't work. So I learned how to snip packets. And that's pretty much the limit of where I really went. I did learn to do a lot of application layer stuff, but it was usually, hey, they're saying it's too really slow and they're blaming our network. Can you look into this? So I'd learn about apps that way. But I have been teaching. I became a security guy. I guess in the mid 90s, there was a book came out, War and Anti by Alvin Toffler. And he talked about the future idea of a soldier would not be a guy like a World War II guy with a rifle. It'd be an admin sitting behind a keyboard. And I was already, into networks, and I studied martial arts for many years, still do, with the same coach, Tom Updegrove, who was actually the head of a sister company, Network Service. And we just came up with this idea to do cyber kung fu. And it took off, luckily. Before 9/11, everybody thought we were crazy. Who cares about computer security? After 9/11, he went down the CEH route for the most part. I've helped him. I went down the CISSP route, and we still work together, and we've done a lot of work on military bases and stuff. I'm also a musician, and you might have to suffer some of my music during a break. You can always turn it down. And since, by the way, CISSP has had AI as part of the curriculum since it started. That's 31 years ago. I got my CISSP 2001. You may have noticed that AI has grown, and I actually doubted some of the stuff that the CISSP warned about. And then in 2016, when AlphaGo beat the world's best Go player, we can talk later on why that was so significant. But I became a believer. I joined Ray Kurzweil's Singularity University. I've been a member since then, and I am just dedicated and loving this AI ride. I pause during this so we don't have to record you. If people want to say hi, they'll go on here. Because I do record this, and they don't want to share that on YouTube for you. Welcome. I just want to add, when we get people who have already passed and sat the class before, and you come back and there's a couple of you there, that's like the greatest honor. So I love it when that happens. Thank you. All right. So we did that. All right. Now, what you get with your course is you get this recording of what we're doing now. You get your slide books and the PDFs. If you look in the library right now, if you signed up, you should have access. There's a new folder there, and we'll help you during a break if you don't see it, with this week's date and the first 3 presentations that I hope to get through today. So, and then also, Arpita, do you want to introduce them to the TryHackMe pathway? Arpita has worked with the #1 lab simulation. You just need a browser, and she can walk you through a bunch of CISSP related labs that you could try out.
Yes, so you get TryHackMe lab access with our course. What I'm going to do, Larry, in the interest of time, we will meet once next week so that I can give you access and introduce you to the learning paths that we have set up, and the hundreds of learning paths that TryHackMe also has. As you know, as you mentioned, it can get a little dry to study theoretically without any context of practice. TryHackMe has a really, really great quality labs for risk management, incident management, and response, disaster recovery, cryptography, network fundamentals. So for those of you who are looking for some additional hands-on learning ways, I've observed that this is a really, really good way to supplement your learning, especially if you're tired of reading books and listening to videos. But we'll talk about that in depth next week, where I'll set you up for access. You'll have a month of access, but if you need more, please let me know. The only thing I ask is make sure you continuously use it or periodically use it rather, so that you can make the most of the subscription that we purchased from TryHackMe.
Yeah, and really, I think about the people who just spend all their time in practice exams and never really digest the actual content. And one session in a lab can be weeks of practice exams when you make it real and go, oh, now I see it. So thank you, Arpita, for all that work. We also get to do my AI prompts. I've been obviously pretty obsessed about this stuff over the last couple of years now, since the first ChatGPT came out, I guess 2 years ago. And so now I'm up to the paid versions of ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, and I even did Grok over the holidays because it made an offer I couldn't refuse. 12 months for like $69. Meta is free. All you need is Facebook. And the prompt works great in Meta. It works in your Copilot. Well, I just don't use Copilot because right now it's ChatGPT under the hood anyway. But who knows? We'll see what happens there. But you create an exam simulator that you can ask questions of. So it's more than just, give me a question and, oh, I guess C is the answer. You're like, well, wait a second. I don't remember covering this. Is this really appropriate for the CISSP? What domain would that? And you could even say, actually start the exam. Test me, create an exam based on domain 2, task 2.4, and then it'll do that. So these are great things. But you can say, I don't remember, where can I find out more? Oh, so what does NIST call that? If that's an ISO term, is there a different term in NIST? All these things are wonderful. And you really create the best thing that these things can do is assist you with stuff that they're not perfect at, but neither am I. I don't know anybody that is. And you also knew this year at Arpita's urging pre-recorded videos of every task. So if you want more, it's in your library, 58 videos for each task. And each task, if it has multiple subtasks, it'll cover that as well. It's all about alignment. We're trying to align everything. Arpita and me, the official content with my slides. We also do other ISC2 CISSP, and now a big push for the certified and cybersecurity ones. And we do our ISACA, CISM, CRISC, and third quarter we're rolling out CISA. And you get all the other access to, once you sign up, you're here for 12 months and you can keep downloading stuff or sit more classes. We have monthly, weekly classes that we're scheduled. So if you pay for this week, you could sit and say, hey, I just want to sit that day 2 again. And then also on Friday now, my goal is to try to finish up. I told you it was my first time through the slides, but I was able to, in my beta run through it in October, I was able to finish this in 4 days, which means I want to spend Friday doing a review in the morning, but from really 10 to 12, I want to focus on the LLMs. And if you have sat one of these things, I started doing it last year with Arpita's help. AI whispering, you learn how to run the prompt. We tweak it all the time. And we let the other LLMs play each other. So we get to see how did Grok reply versus Claude versus ChatGPT. It's very fun. We also align with the common good, not just people from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe, but all the other life forms on this earth. I've been having some great chats with ChatGPT about humans not really knowing sometimes what's good for them, and that's why we still have sugar. If we were logical, we wouldn't need that stuff. And I said, we're going to talk about blockchain later. It's a consensus protocol, and it makes it a lot easier for humans to negotiate, a consensus rather than one guy dictates whatever. But suppose 51% of humans think it's okay to continue to pollute the ocean, but we take into account other opinions. And it turns out no other living thing on this planet thinks that's cool. So we want to protect our all life. About the exam itself, it's 3 hours up to 150 questions. You can get kicked out at 100 questions because you passed. You can get kicked out at 100 questions because you weren't. do it as well. And if you go beyond 100, obviously you still have a chance. So keep trying to get them all right. Don't ever sit there and think, is it asking me to answer something even though it knows I already failed? If it's still asking, you're in the game. And they also have, for other languages, the regular computer-based. We're going to see all week. Always logically try to figure out what's going on, but you got to watch the clock. You can't sit there forever and go, it's not that, it's not that. At a certain point, you go, all right, it's not A and it's not B. I'm not sure if it's C or D. I haven't picked C in a while. You just got to pick something to move on. Watch your clock. You want to become an ISC candidate, register for the exam. Don't just use one, just like I don't use one AI, but use other stuff. We're also, I mentioned huge fans of Wanna Practice and Ben Maliso's program. I can't recommend Luke Ahmed's book enough. Think Like a Manager says a number of things. Well, why did that come out? I had some format issues last night. But we're going to talk mostly about risk management this week. I don't know what happened here. I'll fix that. But risk is literally comes from the Greek. A lot of people don't know what it means. So cyber, like govern, comes from the Greek word Kubernetes, which means to steer. It's an old shipping term. And when you're steering your ship, you don't want to hit danger. So if you're paying attention, you steer out of danger. But some dangers you can't see, like cliffs underwater. And they would find out because they hit it. So you had to learn from history. Let's make a note of that, in words and pictures, because we try to prevent that from happening again. So we're going to talk a lot about due diligence and due care. Think before you act, risk assessment, identify what could happen, analyze the impact and likelihood, evaluate the different ways to deal with it, and then due care, do that. So that's our goal. Our schedule, theoretically, we'll see. I'm prepared to get up to asset security today. If we finish early, great. We'll just do more practice exams. If we're running late, we'll improvise, adapt, and overcome. But day 5, again, I'm really hoping to get you guys to appreciate how to take these AIs, because they're not great. I mean, they make mistakes. We see them all the time, but you learn to recognize that. You learn to see what they're good at and really appreciate. And one thing they're really good at is gathering all the appropriate ISC2 requirements, ISO standards, NIST guidelines, internet standards from the Internet Engineering Task Force, and layer 2 and 1 stuff from the IEEE, the Institute, and generate very relevant exams. If you think that, by the way, that the ISC2 has their own questions, I've seen that before, that's a common myth. The ISC2 isn't like a vendor that has their own products. All their questions are based on somebody else's standard or guideline. They can gather every law to let you know the requirements of GDPR. Boom, 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 boom. All right, so the beginning of governance, risk, and compliance, and this is really what we wanted you to teach, to walk away with, both from an exam perspective and how to do your job. These are old shipping terms from like thousands of years ago, but they were standardized in the 1600s, actually 1400s. You see this sail that was developed by the Portuguese. It was the first wide area networking protocol, right here. This little sail, it allowed you to sail your ship. You used to just trail along the edges, of the coast. And if it wasn't windy, you didn't go. But here, Neil, you didn't have to have the wind at your back, and they had ships go around the world. And they were doing not just warfare, they were doing a lot of collaboration. This is why Szechuan Chinese happened, because they were able to take peppers from the Americas and bring them to China. We were trying to get tea most of the time, when I say we, the Europeans and stuff. And Lloyd's Coffee House is now today Lloyd's of London, started a process that you're very much part of when you're in this class and in this field. So you're trying to get certified, because they're not Lloyd's Bank is not going to lend you money if they don't think you know what you're doing. You got to ship and you want to be, it's like FedEx, you're a private company, they were privateers, and you just wanted to be approved for a mission. Yeah, you want to get tea and we'll bring the gold over to them, we'll bring the tea back. We can do that. Do your people know what they're doing? And that's the purpose of getting people certified. You want to make sure the ship itself is ship shape. That's what 27001 is. And you want to make sure that these sales aren't just bed sheets, no, they're certified sales. And that's where we are today. And this is very testable, just the whole concept. When you take your exam, you're going through a validation process to receive a third-party certification that you can use to get approved because people now can trust you. Hey, he's got his driver's license. I guess so far he looks like he could drive a bus for us or a delivery truck or whatever. So that's our goal. Now, in order to mitigate the risk, you can't just know that the cliffs are there because it's not just that the cliffs are there. You have to know the weather. I tried to avoid the cliffs. Who knew that there was a windy storm? That's why part of it is to maintain constant, continuous monitoring data. You need your ship to be online. We didn't have that ability electronically until it was patented in 1909. Marconi patented the radio, and the Titanic carried. And you may have heard the Titanic was supposed to be unsinkable, but it was sinkable. It had a disaster. And what we may not have heard was because of the radio, 700 of the 2,500 people were able to live. They would have died without a radio. It became a law by 1912, radioactive 1912, to make sure that every ship has a radio. IT touches every process. That's our job, to secure it. Save more than 700, save them all. They only had enough lifeboats based on the weight of the ship. They didn't account how many people. There were other problems too. Yeah, Lloyd's today still there. They insure cyber, they insure spaceships. Awesome. And again, you're going for your ISO certificate so you can show people I can be trusted internationally to protect the common good from Afghanistan to Zimbabwe. Right? It's not an acronym; it's a word. And again, it comes from the Greek. And currently, I need to update 172. I think last check. All right. When we get a mission, and this will set the context for everything. At the big picture, we need to support the organizational mission, whatever that is. The bare minimum is we must, now from the customer's perspective or from the shipper's perspective, whatever, get tea. They got to get to China from Europe, and the seller is we want to sell tea. That's the bare, and you know what? It's going to take time and money on both accounts to get that done. We need to provide enough time and money to get the mission done, but I don't want to go too much out of it. If I needed $10 for tolls, I might grab a $20 bill. I don't know, but I'm not going to say, hey, I need $500. Hey, the toll could go up. That's a waste. That's scrap. I'll still complete the mission. If it's supposed to take me whatever an hour to get there, I should give myself a little extra time. Yeah, but suppose I get a flat, but I don't give myself an extra week. That's out of scope. So we need to maintain the scope, never short scope. Try not to go too far out of scope. This is our goal. All week we will refer to this, and now we'll know if we are aligned with the strategy of the mission. We're also going to refer to this a lot. A development life cycle, and I don't care if it's software, I don't care if it's your business continuity plan, your overall security plan. All development life cycles have some things in common. The basic thing is, in this development life cycle, I'm going to develop a plan to get some food. First, who gets to go with me? Can I bring, maybe we're having a company party. We're going to see all week. I keep saying this is first because if you get this wrong, I don't care how strong your locks are. You'll hold the door for the attacker. So we need to strengthen identity and access management. We'll get to that on day 4. And then we talk about our schedules and the overall target and the purpose. Why are we going there? It's a company party. But then the hard part. You're a CISSP. You're going to be this person most of this week, and especially when you take your test. You're going to help read the questions or help somebody, when I come in and I say, hey, I don't know your menu. You do. You're the expert on your menu. Your menu is probably 853 catalog of controls or 27001. It depends on which restaurant you work. If you worked at the Denny's and the TGI Fridays, good for you. You'll know both menus and you'll be able to negotiate this really well. So you help me analyze what I want, exactly what I want. And I may want whatever alcohol, and you may say, wait a minute, are you over 21? So we'll talk about functional and assurance requirements, making sure we're compliant. But then your job is to design a solution to get me what I want. You write down my order. He wants whatever IPS, and he needs whatever this, and he needs some detection mechanisms, and he wants the Manhattan clam chowder. And then subject matter experts build that. They develop or implement. Most of my students are this person. So when someone says, I want the best thing you have to cook or whatever, you like, well, the best thing is we have is our steak. And you didn't consider, but I'm a vegetarian. Subject matter experts are not for this test. These are the guys that know the technology really well, but they tend to do what they want. You're a CISSP. You do what the customer asked. This is going to be different managers. When Luke Ahmed says think like a manager, it's because this is probably the head of HR or the head of the legal department, the head of the marketing group. These are our customers, and we need to make sure they get what they ordered, not what the SQL DBA recommended. They just follow what, do as you're told, and then you bring it out to them. I mean, this person could put a thermometer, steak, and make sure a unit test, but the overall user acceptance test, the accreditation of it, is when the sales manager got what they wanted. And then you deploy it. They get to use it. If this was a car, like I'm driving in, I'm getting my new car. Yeah, I get to drive my car. You know what? I don't like taking my car in to get oil changed. Nobody likes this job. Be careful as we go through our test objectives and understand development life cycles. Know that the hardest part to understand is the analysis. This is when you're trying to figure out, looking at the menu, what you want. You're in a Greek diner. There's like 100 pages. I don't know what I want. It's common knowledge. It's the hardest part, trying to figure out what a customer wants. You have to explain to them what that is. No, an IPS is different than an IDS. But the hardest part to get people to actually follow is this. Nobody likes this job. This person came in because they were hungry. The customer, your managers came in because they need it. They like managing their process. You like working with people. That's the waiter's job. Subject matter experts, cooks love their job. This person, the dishwasher, he's a musician and he's not making any money as a musician. So he took this job just to pay the bills. He doesn't really care if the dishes are clean. He just cares that he looks busy when the boss is there until it rings 5 o'clock and he can go home. No offense, I've been that guy. A lot of my friends are that guy. So we're going to watch it. Most of our problems happen because we didn't understand, or patch came out last year and you still didn't patch it. You didn't do backups for how long? Right? These are the things. You never changed the classification of that data. These are the things that are hard to do because people just don't feel like doing it. Dangerous shortcuts, process errors. That's where we do stuff like two-party integrity, rotation of duties, other detective controls, the enforcement of policies. What, he's not here anymore? No, didn't you know? Third time, you're let go. All right, now when we classify our information, ultimately, I like to stick with something my mother taught me. Most people, I hear in military, I've been a contractor for a long time, forget something or overlook something. We hear about the things you know that you know. That's the data I have. If this was a chest of drawers, then I know the top drawer is all receipts from Coca-Cola. I look it up, yeah, that's what's in there. Partial information. One of them says locked. And I go, Well, I know that there's something in there. I don't know what it is. But then they warn you, it's what you didn't know that you didn't know. Look in the back. There's a secret panel. It's a covert channel. They're using steganography, whatever. But that's not the worst kind. The worst kind is the things you think you know that turn out to be wrong. Misinformation. That's why you clicked on the phishing attack, because you thought it was your bank. That's what they want you to do. So remember, that's how attackers work. As a martial artist, when I go like this, it's because I want you to think I'm going like that, but actually I'm coming this way. That's what we do. We throw fakes. Fundamentally, all attacks in information come in two categories. I've heard some network people out there. I can explain it easier there because I'm a network guy. Imagine an Ethernet cable, and all I have is the send pair, right? Or excuse me, the receive pair. I'm not sending any information. Anybody remember that's how you would do a passive cable if you wanted to sniff passively before the promiscuous mode and stuff like that. But you can make sure that you're just eavesdropping. Now, if somebody's just listening and they're not sending anything, how am I going to tell that they're doing anything? I got nothing to pick up on. It is common knowledge. That means it's testable. That passive attacks are undetectable, but they are preventable. If I was worried about you eavesdropping on this room, I might not know that you were sitting across the street with some special listener, but I could have soundproofed the room. I could have encrypted the data or whatever. So undetectable, but preventable. An active attack is when someone's sending stuff. I can pick up the radio waves. They keep whatever blasting their music up the street. I can certainly detect that. I can't always prevent that. So remember that active attacks are detectable. I can tell when somebody keeps calling me on the phone, but I can't stop. Beat these up. As a youngster, I read a number of books by Robert Anton Wilson, actually, who always invoked Buckminster Fuller. And I love his ethic, the overall goal of it's the CISSP prime directive, really, to protect the common good. He felt that scientists were at the dawn of a new age. You know, it's not like praying to the turtle god, and coincidentally, we had good crops, so therefore we should pray to the turtle god. It's we're really building amazing stuff. You know, but he felt that we need to ensure that what we build, and he called them artifacts, the things we leave behind, should advantage everyone without disadvantaging anyone. And I think we're on the verge of it. That's what a general intelligence can do, as far as I'm concerned. Oh, I see some notes here. Yes, I am a big Star Trek fan. Yes, and I'm in the middle of changing some of these graphics, so you'll see. I'm trying. I was able to get Dali to do, what might be a licensing infringement. So I'm trying to get away from the Star Trek logo. See, and move to these. You'll see these are the new. I have a hunch. Oh, Ross, we're going to get along really well. uh, yeah, so these are our new icons. So we have three actually. For the land, I have Ellie the elephant, and Ray Kurzweil echoed something in his most recent book. The singularity is nearer, and I had to. I wish my mom was still here. My mother raised me to believe that animals were very, very intelligent. She loved dolphins and she loved elephants, and she told me that because they had bigger brains, she wondered if, especially if elephants and whales weren't smarter than humans, and just because they didn't build whatever things, and he argued the same thing. He said, no, just because they don't have opposable thumbs, that means they can't probably manipulate the world around them. Doesn't mean that their brains aren't taking in a lot of information. And so that's pretty cool. So, with our Earth Species Project, Ellie protects the land and Finn protects the sea. And then my company logo, which I share with my martial arts coach, Tom Updegrove. I know some of you know him, Marcus. And Tom also runs a sister company, Internetwork Service, and I tell you, he's more about penetration testing and stuff. But he's the one who started the Griffin. So many years ago, he called me up and goes, "Hey, we were talking about the cyber kung fu, and he wanted to make the logo the Griffin. Take a look. So you can. So these are our new. I'll be mixing, pulling out the Star Trek stuff and putting some Griffin in. All right, this is the prompt we're going to be playing with all week. I encourage you to start with it early. I don't know how, again, today's flow is going to go. We'll see how it goes in time. But and we constantly tweak this. I want you to tweak it. But right now, the way it is, when you just cut or copy and paste this into your favorite LLM, that'll work on, again, even in the free Meta AI. It's great. It'll then ask you, oh, what area would you like? And you could put in right from the official content outline a domain. You could add in the domain and the task. You could add in the subtask. Or you could just say, no, I just want you to focus on whatever business content, not particular domain. And then it will also ask you how many questions would you like. And I personally have not done very well, and maybe they've gotten much better, but up until last, like I'd say October was the last time I tried to go 25 questions, and it starts to stray. You'll see it's kind of like if you let go of the wheel of your car and see is the wheel alignment on, AIs are not perfectly aligned yet, so they will start to stray. One of them, it was just innocent. It started asking Microsoft specific questions. I was like, is this in scope to give me like detailed Microsoft product? Oh, you're right. Sorry about that. So you do it to check them. All right, that's it. Let me pause the recording, and then we're going to take a 20-minute break and get back at 11:30. Pause.